Have you ever noticed how the loudest person in the room is often the most confident, yet completely wrong? They argue aggressively, refuse to listen, and somehow believe they're the smartest one there. Psychology says that's not confidence, it's something far more concerning. Today, we're breaking down everyday habits that reveal an extremely low IQ, backed by real psychological research. And fair warning, once you hear these, you'll never look at people the same way again. Sign number 1. Overconfidence without understanding. Psychologists call this the Dunning-Kruger effect. It happens when people with low ability dramatically overestimate their intelligence. Why? Because they don't know enough to realize how little they actually understand. They speak confidently, they interrupt others, they argue loudly. But when you ask them why they believe something, their logic collapses. There's no structure, no evidence, just noise. True intelligence is cautious. Low intelligence is loud. Sign number 2. No curiosity or desire to learn. One of the strongest predictors of intelligence isn't grades or education, it's curiosity. Intelligent people constantly ask questions. Why does this work? What if I'm wrong? Is there another perspective? People with extremely low IQ avoid questions altogether. Learning feels threatening to their ego. They stick to familiar ideas, repeat the same opinions, and get defensive when exposed to anything new, not because they're certain, but because uncertainty scares them. Sign number 3. Black and white thinking. Low IQ individuals often see the world in extremes. You're either right or wrong, good or evil, with them or against them. Psychologists call this cognitive rigidity, the inability to think flexibly. They struggle with nuance, complexity, and gray areas. But real intelligence understands that most truths exist somewhere in between. Life isn't simple, and people who demand simple answers usually don't have the mental capacity to handle complexity. Sign number 4. Poor emotional control. Research consistently links low IQ with low emotional intelligence. These individuals react impulsively, get offended easily, explode in anger or frustration. They don't pause, they don't reflect, they react. Smart people respond after thinking. Low IQ people respond from emotion alone. If someone can't control their emotions, they rarely control their thoughts either. Sign number 5. Constantly blaming others. Psychology calls this an external locus of control. People with low IQ believe life happens to them, never because of them. Everything is someone else's fault. Their boss, society, their family, bad luck. They rarely take responsibility because responsibility requires self-reflection, and that's mentally uncomfortable. High intelligence looks inward. Low intelligence points outward. Sign number 6. Inability to handle opposing opinions. Low IQ individuals often confuse disagreement with disrespect. The moment someone challenges their belief, they feel attacked. They get defensive, emotional, or aggressive. Why? Because debating requires logic, reasoning, and mental effort. And those things demand cognitive capacity. Instead of discussing ideas, they attack people. Instead of thinking, they react. The truth most people miss: low IQ isn't about bad grades, accents, or education level. It's about how someone thinks. And here's the unsettling part. The lower someone's IQ, the less aware they are of their own flaws. They genuinely believe they're right. That's why these habits go unnoticed, especially by the people who display them. If you want to understand the hidden psychology behind human behavior, the patterns most people never question, make sure you subscribe. And in the next video, we're diving into something even deeper: the psychology of a child who grew up too fast. It explains why some adults struggle with emotions, boundaries, and relationships, and it might explain more about your past than you expect. Subscribe now, and I'll see you in the next one.